Sup guys, Bird here, bringing you the Noob's Guide to Legendary for the 12th mission of the Halo 2 campaign, High Charity.
Your pal. Where's he going?
Earth, to finish what we started. And this time, none of you will be left behind.
That structure in the center of the city, it's a Forerunner ship. And Truth is heading straight for it. If he leads the Covenant fleet to Earth, they won't stand a chance. You have to stop him.
That brute has the Index. And Miranda and Johnson. He can activate the ring.
If he does, I'll detonate in Emberclad's reactor just like we did the Autumn's. The blast will destroy this city and the ring. Not a very original plan, but we know it'll work. No, I don't want to chance a remote detonation. I need to stay here.
Flood-controlled dropships are touching down all over the city. That creature beneath the library, that grave mine, used us. It was just a diversion. And Emberclad was always its intended vector. There's a conduit connecting this tower to the ship. Head back inside. I'll lead you to it.
Now that first encounter should be pretty doable. You start off with a carbine and a plasma pistol, and the first combat form you see is a shielded combat form with a sword, so you can just unique combo him and then take the sword. Now the only thing here that requires an explanation is that once you move up to the point that those doors on the right open, a bunch of grunts are going to come out and they're going to engage the combat forms, and the combat forms will always win, so just mop them up once the fight's over. Sometimes I like to pick up a plasma rifle to deal with the infection forms, but a lot of times I'll just destroy bodies with the sword and they won't be a problem. You might have one or two combat forms over here by the Pelican. You can either grenade them or use the sword. Then pick up the rocket launcher. Now for this part, you're going to have 4 brutes that come around from the corner over there. The best way to deal with them is to fire a rocket, then throw a grenade, then look to the other side, fire a rocket, throw a grenade. That should take 2 of them out, and if you retreat and get a checkpoint like this, you'll hear them fighting combat forms in the background. That's exactly what you want to happen. What you can do is move up here and take them all out with a grenade and a few rockets. Unfortunately, I wasted a rocket there because I had to kill the combat form with the shotgun immediately before he got a shot off because of how broken the shotgun is on Legendary. So now, here they come. Now, fortunately, none of them are going to have shotguns. I've already taken out the one with the shotgun. But if you find yourself in this position, retreat all the way back and out the doorway. Now, done perfectly, you won't need to retreat. You'll take them all out with a couple of grenades and rockets, but it didn't happen that time. One of the combat forms is going to have a sword, so use that to replace your empty rocket launcher. And then you can head up the lift.
I'll disable this lift once you reach the top. That'll slow them down. I hope.
Shall we let the flood consume our holy city? Turn our charity into another of their wretched hive. No enemy has ever withstood our might. The flood too shall fail.
I'll do what I can to slow the launch sequence. But there's something inside the ship, a presence that's fighting back. For a Covenant construct, it's unusually formidable.
Alright, grab a beam rifle and get to sniping drones. Now, what's gonna happen is they're gonna engage a group of combat forms over there. Like almost every other three-way fight in the game, you want the fight between the drones and the combat forms to come out even. So you don't want to snipe too many of the drones, or else the combat forms will wipe them out like that, and then you'll have the combat forms left. But you don't want to snipe none of the drones, or else the drones will wipe out the combat forms, and then they'll come for you. And then they're really a problem. Now this, of course, is not ideal because I have combat forms left, but there is plenty of beam rifle ammo available. You can use up this one, and then there's 2 more in the crate by the dead jackal that I picked this one up off of. So feel free to use this and use it all up in order to snipe combat forms over there if you need to. Just remember that you have to shoot them in the head, because if you don't hit the head, you'll do absolutely no damage to them with a beam rifle. When you're ready to move across the light bridge, I highly recommend that your weapons be beam rifle and energy sword. You want the sword to take out any remaining combat forms that may or may not be over there, and you want the beam rifle for the drones that come out the doorway further up. This is kind of just force of habit. This isn't necessary since there aren't any infection forms in this area. When you're ready to move on, just step onto the light bridge. The platform over there will lower into position. And then once it's in position, you can move across. Now, as you cross this light bridge, have your beam rifle out and look at this doorway. There's going to be 3 drones that come out of it, and you want to snipe them before they get close enough to be a threat. Then with them taken care of, use the sword and some grenades to mop up the combat forms that come out of this door. It certainly helps to stick the first one out, but it doesn't always happen. At this point, you're finished with the beam rifle for now, so you can swap it out for the carbine that you'll find here. The only thing you'll find in this room is a fresh sword to replace the one you're carrying, and 2 carrier forms, and engaging the carrier forms is completely optional. This part, however, is a little trickier, but still very easy. You'll hear the Floods scream, and let them run by. They'll engage the Covenant up ahead for you. Trailing behind the combat forms are going to be 2 more carrier forms. Engaging them is completely optional, but I just like to take them out with the sword, since you can mop up all the infection forms and not consume any ammo. Now, normally there would be a bunch of brutes and grunts in this room, but they're all dead. The combat forms killed them for me. Any surviving combat forms will be in this room. Take them all out with a sword. The only threat is the ones with shotguns, so try to take them out first thing. And then here's the glitchy part. Sometimes a huge wave of combat forms is going to spawn here, and sometimes if you move into the room and past a certain point, they won't spawn at all. And that's what happened here, and I'm sorry I can't demonstrate fighting off the huge wave of combat forms, but basically you just let them spawn, then retreat, and then take them out one by one with the sword.
Parasite did not defeat the Forest, and it shall not defeat us.
Your days begin to tend us, while we shall suffer the progress of infinitude.
The easiest way to handle this room is going to be to hop up by this rock and then take everything out with the carbine. You can really tell how badly rushed and thrown together this entire mission is when the most effective strategies are just, stay back and shoot everything with the carbine. The only thing to watch out for is the Jackal sniper over there, but he should engage the flood and you should be able to spot him. You might have a combat form with a rocket launcher. If that happens, move away from cover so that the rockets are less likely to hit you, and take them out with the carbine. Once all the Covenant in the area are dead, the flood will come for you, so take them all out with the sword. If they engage you from long range, use the carbine to take them out with headshots. There's a fresh sword up here to replace the one you've got, which really shouldn't be running low on ammo anyway, but you might as well.
The security systems in this part of the tower are particularly robust.
This room is significantly harder than the last one, but it's still not that bad. There's going to be a bunch of combat forms patrolling over there. I like to get their attention with the carbine shot and then take them out with the carbine as they're running towards me. And then once they actually get to me, I'll switch to the sword.
Whosoever is gripped by fear, take no fear. I am the prophet of truth, and I am not afraid. Noble mercy is here, my God. His wise counsel ever in my ears.
Now take a look at this. This is nothing wrong with my computer, or your computer, or with the video. The game actually stutters here, and the frame rate absolutely plummets when the combat forms with active camo spawn. Yep, you heard me right. Combat forms with active camo. And one of them has even got a rocket launcher. So, because it's so dark, they are nearly impossible to see. So you're going to have to rely on spamming shots and hopefully something connects. And then as well as spamming that sword, just like I'm doing here. There's really not much strategy to this. Once you take out the one with the rocket launcher, you can use the rocket launcher to either kill or reveal the location of remaining combat forms, since you don't actually have to hit them, you just have to come close, but it's only got limited ammo. It is, however, very useful for taking out the one with the shotgun before he kills you. There we go, firing a shot to make sure there's none left, because if there were, they'd be running towards me and I'd see them on the motion tracker. So that means the area is clear.
Apparently these are the Prophet Hierarch's private quarters. They're intersecting.
It'll vary what door that combat form comes out of and what weapon he's carrying. In this case, he had a brute shot and he was straight ahead. I have seen it, however, where he had a shotgun, so if that's the case, retreat and take him out from a distance with the carbine. This is probably the hardest part of the mission. This is the Sanctified fight where you're dropped in this room with a whole bunch of brute honor guards and then flood spawning around you. What I actually found that made this fight a hell of a lot easier is that the flood are actually not infinitely respawning. There's several waves of them, but they're actually not infinite. So what you can do is you can hang back here until the flood stops spawning and then go after the brutes with a carbine.
This crisis will not be the end of us. It is but one last and selfish.
It also really helps to not engage any of the Covenant until all of the Flood combat forms are dead, so that the Flood will engage the Covenant instead of you. It'll be a lot easier if they don't all come after you. So, pretty standard combat at this point. Use these pillars for cover and let the Flood come to you. Try to pick off any that you can from range with the carbine and grenades, and then once they get close, switch to the sword. At this point, it looks like that was the last of them. So now take out the rest of the Covenant that are going to be in the room. There's going to be 3 or 4 brute honor guards over there, a couple with brute shots, so watch out, and maybe some jackals. Be especially careful if the jackal sniper has survived the fight. You need to take him out first. Besides that, there's not really much strategy here other than pump them full of carbine rounds until they fall down, and use the center pillar for cover. Now, it is a bit of a rare occurrence, but sometimes all 4 of those levitating pillars will survive the fight, and then you'll have really no cover here. Like, that center pillar is actually one of those levitating pillars that just got knocked down. So if that happens, feel free to use some grenades to create some cover for yourself. Something fun to do when a Berserk Brute attacks you like this is going to be to hop on top of that center pillar. Just like the Council Chamber on Gravemind, he cannot get you when you're up there. You can even use this opportunity to look for more carbine ammo, then grab some and then hop back up where you're safe.
Ships are engaging one another all around High Charity. I'm running out of options, Chief. I can't stall the launch sequence much longer. The next lift will take you up to the conduit. Hurry!
Grab a fresh energy sword and a beam rifle from the jackal in the corner, and then head up the lift. Now, I'm gonna have to say this now so that I don't have to interrupt Cortana later. The way that you handle the fight at the top of this lift is to first locate and snipe the jackal sniper. There's only gonna be one. And then once he's down, you can pretty much just snipe anything you like, or just run to the end.
I knew the Covenant was good at repurposing Forerunner technology, but this is amazing. They've been using the Forerunner ship's engines as an energy source for the city. The ship isn't so much launching as it is disengaging, uncoupling itself from High Charity's power grid. Stopping Truth, that's all that matters.
Now is the time of our unloading. The moment we shall all be.
You know the plan. You've got to stop Truth. I've got to handle the Index. Go!
If you would falter, know this. One final effort toward the grenade.
What's wrong?
Forget about the flood. You've got to get aboard. Chief, when you get to Earth, good luck.
After I'm through with Truth,
Don't make a girl a promise.
If you know you can't keep it.